Welcome to the Enlighten Up podcast, where I am going to take you into a deep exploration of what it means to exist in this current reality. We are going to raise your vibes, open your mind, expand your heart, and dive deep into the wondrous mysteries and possibilities of this lifetime. There's been a spiritual catalyst that has set in motion the awakening process of many across the globe to return to the knowingness of self and unite what has been separated. Together, we're going to bring light into that darkness. We're going to remember the joy of living. But most of all, we're going to turn up the volume of our own eternal power and do the thing we're here to do. Welcome back, everyone, to the Enlighten Up podcast. I hope you're all doing very well. Mary Dusina, our favorite mystic and seer, our Scorpio queen, is here today to talk to you guys about the very lovely, fantastic Gemini full moon energies that we are just absolutely loving right now. It's a little crazy. It's a little intense. It's a little scattered. Mary and I were just doing a little pre-discussion about it before we went live here. But listen, guys, 2025 has been a very interesting year. This is our last full moon. It's a super moon, so it's really intense. In fact, as I say, it's our last full moon of 2025. This particular super moon is reaching a height that we won't see again for another, is it 18 years or so, Mary?
At least, yeah, 18 and a half, 19, yep.
Yeah. And so this is a very special moon. It's a very fated moon. This moon is bending the nodes. And so we've got a lot to talk about here because, well, we are in Sagittarius season and we do have lovely Venus and Mars and the sun in Sagittarius. But the ruler of this full moon is sitting in Scorpio, our sign of wanting to do a lot of investigation, searching, digging, looking for the truth, looking for what's hidden, looking for what hasn't been revealed. Sometimes they're secrets, sometimes they're things that you've avoided. All of that is coming to the surface in this beautiful full moon in Gemini that is again bending the nodes of fate. So, Mary and I were just talking before the show about how crazy the energies are. I've been hearing it from all of my friends. They keep asking me, like, what's going on in the sky right now? Because it just feels, you said, Mary, jittery. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Jittery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jittery, like shaky, jittery, chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's I know it's not my favorite energy. I'll say that.
No.
How are you feeling with all of this energy?
I feel like we're in, like if you ever played soccer in school, or you went to gymnastics, or you were going to swallow your insecurities and try out to see if you could do all the cheers for the cheerleading squad, or you summoned up the courage to not worry about having a date for a prominent event or dance or cocktail hour, and you decide, I'm going to grab a friend and go. I still want to go, but I don't want to have to limit myself by, I look weird if I don't have a partner, date type of a thing. So it's when we like sidestep the jittery part, the chaotic part, is we can feel a little more intensely when there's a Gemini moon, even more than a Virgo, even though they're both ruled by the planet Mercury. The Gemini one, like, kind of amps up. It's kind of like one of those livestock wires, or those shock collars that you put on the dog. So it's, so it doesn't attack somebody or escape the yard. There's like something that feels like it's a low hum of an electrical current. Like it's very electrical. But it's not just the om, it's the So I think we're finding out what is that kind of haunting me and taunting me, and well, that was rude. What'd they say that for? And how come they disrespected that? There's a lot of these Sagittarian, as Nicole and I were talking about, mental, verbal communication arrows that are going on. Just like when the jets have to wait on the tarmac. They have to wait because the whole runway is jammed. Well, okay, we're 15th and in the time to take off of your flight. It's like it's just jammed up. There's been bad weather. There's been delays, flight cancellations, redirectional. No, you're going to take this flight now and you're going to have to sit in the airport for a couple of hours. Go have a drink. So there's something going on that I feel, Nicole, and hello audience, that's kind of wanting to remind us that the reason we study and discipline and dedicate our interests toward creating the best version of ourselves, wanting our soul to evolve, the people that do care about kindness and soul evolvement and higher mind and heart chakra skills and connecting, remembering the divine. This is the moon that reminds us how the third dimensional world, how the bills or that weird text or somebody didn't get back with you that was supposed to, that you reminded was supposed to do this at this time and all that kind of stuff, that grungy kind of stuff. I see that flying everywhere. And I'm especially seeing it, Nicole, because we've got Neptune, the ruler of the sign of Pisces. We've got Neptune until like the 11th of December. It's in the last, what astrologers quickly learn, that 29 degrees of any of the zodiac signs is the big at the end of the fireworks show. It's like the big grand finale kind of a thing before the curtain goes down. So we're in a grand finale of the planet Neptune, Poseidon, king of the seas, everything to do with the oceans of our emotions and the depths that we're willing to go. Can we keep our head above water? All those watery symbols, the element of water, emotions, the orbits of our feelings. Neptune is wrapping up a 165-year long cycle. It's not been in Pisces for since 165 years ago, and it wraps it. It won't be in Pisces again for about 165 to 167 years. That's like, okay, I'm learning this lifetime for the first time. This is a big daddy. So the Pisces in astrology, if you'll look at the flavor of the sign, Pisces being the 12th sign in the natural zodiac says, and now you're at the top of the mountain. All those fears, all those traumas, all the drama, all the passion, all the desire, all the can I, will I, could I, me? That whole Cinderella, that whole siren, the mermaids of the sea, the depths and the mysteries, and sometimes the horrors of the ocean, of things that have birthed, things that have died. Pisces is saying to you, we're going to show you for the next 15 days, amplified by this full moon in Gemini that squares off to Pisces and all this Sagittarius stuff that squares off to Pisces. We're going to show you, no matter where you are in your spiritual, psychological evolution or fall, we're going to gift you. It's not going to feel like a gift. It's not going to look like a gift. And it's not going to arrive like a gift, looking like a gift. We, your higher self, your guides, the creator, great spirit, we're going to gift you. Although you're going to get edgy, nervous, jittery, confused, like, wait, what? We're going to gift you a really deep look at what still can try to pull you off your path a bit, away from the knowings that you have of your kindness and your gratitude and your sincerity and what brings you harmony and who you touch and love and how you embrace nature, all that good stuff that, well, I'm on my spiritual path. I got a whole bunch. Oh, Mother Nature gave me a sign the other day. And, clients are busy and, the dog didn't, the dog behaved and all that kind of stuff. My lover said to me, oh, thank you. I appreciate who you are. All that. That's what we say. Oh, yes. Oh, I absolutely am on the ascension path. Yeah, things are rolling good. It's pretty easy to look at that when we have the money and we don't have the stress. But no, this is a different kind of gift. It's Gemini, two-faced, the twins. We have to look at both faces. Think about the yin-yang symbol, the light and the dark, the positive. And I'm talking about frequencies now, the yang, the masculine, the positive, that's amplification, that's electricity, the yang and the yin, which is the outlet on the wall or what we are drawn to, what we are drawing to us as a magnet. So think about electromagnetics. So this is a Gemini supermoon with all this Sagittarius, Gemini's opposite, therefore balance sign. We got a lot of electrical yang like, well, I look better in society if I can put that in my bank account. And did I answer that right? Am I doing the right thing? And oh my God, my integrity slipped a little bit. I got lazy. I've had, the business guy say to me, crap. He said, I may be 40 years old, but I got all caught up in my new video game. And I'm like, oh my God, I screwed up. Blah, 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 just like that. And I said, well, just own it to yourself, forgive yourself, and then just say to the person, can I give you, that was my fault. Can I give a little extra time? Can I do this? Can I do that? Listen, I apologize. That's not who I am. And I'd like to, we might have to course correct a little bit. And the beauty of it all, Nicole, is that our intuition is absolutely
very strong right now.
On high.
Yes. So for everyone out there, Gemini is, definitely it rules the mind, right? Mercury, it's our mind, it's our thoughts, it's how we communicate, it's our ideas, how we speak, how we write. And Gemini is represented by the Lover's card in the tarot. And so this is really, this full moon is begging us to, not begging us, but it begs the question of really looking at our choices and our decisions, because this is ultimately about a big decision or choice that is related to your destiny, your path of purpose. So what you're here to, what your soul knows already deep down, as Mary was saying earlier. And so this is a crossroads, a very fated crossroads right now, where perhaps some information is going to be very much illuminated over the next week or so during this full moon. It doesn't have to happen right on the date of the full moon, although depending on your planetary alignments with this moon, it could. But something is being revealed either to you through your own mind, through conversations, through possibly emails, who knows, but something is being shown to you, revealed to you, illuminated, highlighted it's time to perhaps make a decision, a choice that you can no longer waver on. You can't ride the fence on. You have to choose. And with the moon bending the nodes of fate that are north nodes in Pisces, south node in Virgo, we are being guided to lean much heavier into our intuition, much more into our connection to God, the universe, spirit, to the healing connection that we've created through our own healing journey, as opposed to Virgo being maybe our habits, our rituals that we are doing that perhaps aren't really serving us anymore. They're not as helpful as they used to be. They're not exactly getting you to where, maybe they used to be good, but now they're maybe holding you back. Virgo wants to always have control. It wants to have all the details. It wants to have everything perfectly organized. And this isn't about being perfectly organized. This is about trusting to take a leap of faith into the unknown, to where you're much more uncomfortable and making that choice. And with Mercury being in Scorpio, as Mary was just saying, your intuition right now, not just because Mercury's in Scorpio, but because it is in a grand trine with Jupiter and Saturn, both in other water signs, right? Saturn's in Pisces, Jupiter's in Cancer. And so this is very much saying it is time to really lean into your mature spiritual wisdom, knowing, intuition, and as well your somatic, emotional knowing. Jupiter in Cancer, to guide you on making these choices. It's not going to so much be about something that is analytical and you're going to be able to just do a little quick calculation. Okay, this makes sense. It all lines up. It's linear. I've got it. It's not going to be that way. It's really about really leaning into something that is a little more obtuse, a little more unknown, not exactly clear in the sense of the details, but certainly clear in your intuition and in your body's knowing. And that's going to be a really important part for this particular full moon. Wouldn't you say, Mary?
I like your, as I often do, I like the way you do these little snippets of choose 3 or 4 words and come up with something that my intuition goes, oh, right there. That's a nugget right there. That's a nugget. That's unwrap that chocolate. And when you said path of purpose, when you said path of purpose, and then you used the word crossroads. And I want to bloom out on Nicole's intuitive statements there with the sign that she and I are talking about, what the moon is in right now, the supermoon, the moon wobble that happens every 18.6. Yeah, we got a moon wobble. So it is literally jittery. The moon is wobbling. You can look up on the NASA website and they'll say the moon wobbles every 18.6 years. So this moon wobble, this, hokey pokey, shaky jerky kind of moon is saying to us, I said, like if someone wags a finger, like when you kind of point your finger, like I said, or come here, telling them something, curling the finger to beckon towards you with the puppy or the person. So this crossroads, Nicole's word, my guide said, you've heard the term intersection. So sometimes there's a four-way stop. It's a traffic sign. You're moving, you're traveling, you're journeying. Sometimes we journey by mind. Sometimes we have intuitive, inspirational journeys, which is what we're seeking now. But that intersection, that crossroads, as she was saying, is with the jitteriness, it's also saying you have some odd, albeit new, but you have some odd choices to consider. And to Nicole's other point, when she was talking about this, that kind of like, do I step forward? Do I step back? Do I dive off the diving board? This is that Neptune and that last 29 degrees. I can't tell you how much when you've done astrology for over 20 years, you really start, you've had enough time to see that 29 degrees, whether it's an eclipse or it hits your chart or you've got a 29 degree placement in your chart of any sign. This 29 degrees of Neptune and Pisces is like there's no turning back. It is as it is as you choose to either apply yourself, move beyond the conundrum, let yourself escape from even creating a lot of self-talk or internal insecure drama within yourself psychologically, mentally, spiritually. Like, if you slipped up, you slipped up. If you're starting to lean into fear, the fear forces or negativity, go, yeah, that's the shadow. And I can assure you, as an intuitive that knew it way young, 5 years old, of course, I've always assumed and still say everybody has it. But the intuitive part of you already knows. The part of us, I think, that has a soul contract to do this Mother Earth life walk is going to give us little quizzes. We're not being punished. It's a little pop quiz. So I think, Gemini's fast. It's rapid. Sagittarius is arrows fly fast. Words, salads happen all over the place. Sometimes people give us what we call lip service, and we're looking at them like, I'm intuitive, right? I mean, I have in writing here what you said like a week ago. You really going to do that? So the Sagittarius part of us, this truth seeker, will confront the drama. It will say, yeah, that's not the way it happens. Yeah, that's the way it's not going to be. Bye now. Bye, Felicia. See you, wouldn't want to be you. All those, that's Sagittarius. It's like, you will not manipulate me with your excuses if you're the one that didn't meet halfway and follow through. The Gemini part of it kind of wants to, they kind of trip all over themselves with, foot in mouth, hoof in mouth. Gemini can sometimes trip up and say, oh God, I got so caught up in the moment and I really, in my heart, I meant to be there. Yeah, but your actions didn't play it through. And that happens to all of us. All of us can make a mistake, miss a schedule, write the wrong thing down, forget, just forget, get blindsided by something bigger that happened before it was on the schedule. But if you see it starting to change and it's going to go sideways, yeah, it's up to you, me, with integrity to make sure, oh God, I'm not going to make it. I'm here on that kind of thing. So there's a lot of that that's going on. And it can come out in a symbol of train, plane, car delays, traffic snafus. I mean, we don't even come out of the Mercury Gemini shadow period until we get Mercury into Sagittarius and past the 6 degree point. So this is a reckoning. Yeah, Mercury turned direct. I'm glad it's in Scorpio because Mercury's joining the thing that Nicole was talking about in the emotional element where we need calming down. The holidays oftentimes for at least 60% of the people are a higher stressor time. They don't like the expectations or they're trying to fulfill the expectations. It's that family pattern dynamic stuff that's coming up. So we've got this. And then we have Sagittarius, which is like, I'm the fun fire sign. I'm like, Aries has got have it their way right away. And Leo wants to make sure they get the recognition for it. And, and like, look what a good job I did. And if I love you with all my heart. And Sagittarius is just like, let's just go to the campfire. Yep. Let's just go on horseback. Let's just go to the edge of the beach and watch the moon come up tonight and leave the 3D world behind. Let's just go park our butts in the sand on the beach. We're not supposed to travel there. There was a wreck that delayed us. Maybe that's a sign. And we should just turn around that it's inner journey time. It's resting. That's absolutely the truth. When Pisces planets are involved at 28, 29 degrees, like Saturn and Neptune are bouncing in, and we've got Uranus trying to help that nervousness at 29 degrees of Taurus, getting ready to go into Gemini. So we've got this, it's an air element. And Nicole also, so I'm going to repeat it, said that one of the main tarot cards, as you study the tarot, the main card associated with the twins is the Lovers, because it's what we want in our other. It's what the other pulls out in us or doesn't. It's what we will put our hand up against, in a significant other association and say, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that to you. I don't do that to you, so don't do that to me. So it's where we're seeking that we can have that trust in someone not deceive us. Now, another, I think, signature to this year and this final full moon of 2025 is that Mercury's card often in the tarot is the Magician. Mm-hmm. And we've come out of this shadowy retrograde soup. There was lots of things that went retrograde. It wasn't just Mercury this time. We had like some intensity and that R with an X on the end of the R, like when you draw a capital R and you kick the tail of that R over to the right and you put that other symbol and make a little big R, little X, that's the symbol for retrograde. So the retro means look back. Did you learn from it? Did you gain from it? The past, looking back to the past isn't a bad thing. It's a little more difficult if you get stuck there. And it's as December opens, we've got that, as Nicole was talking about. First, we have the water coming in with the air. And how perfect is it when you're up in the mountains and it's a season wherever you live, there's not the annoying bugs, and yet there's a breeze and the sun is shining. It's just that perfect temperature. And so Gemini is the air that we wear. Gemini is our aura. Gemini is etheric. Gemini is the swords in the tarot, and it's the air element. And when we look at that other card, the knights are all of the air element. Knights are messengers, and the Knight of Swords or the Ace of Swords has a lot to do with the Gemini factor right now. So the water helps us be able to look at the symbols of water: bathing, cleansing, baptism, resurrection. When you make the commitment of blending your soul with the water, whether it's being sprinkled water on you, holy water, or you go to the river, or you just know that every time you get a chance to go to the ocean, there's some kind of ancient memory that comes up for you, how it feels when we get to take a good bath or a shower. So December opens with a invigorating, but it's a reinvigorating thing. Our relationships, the focus of where we need to place our attention. Gemini is also our attention. Where are we placing our attention? It will sharpen our focus. Conversations feel more honest than ever, although I'm not going to promise those are all easy, because there's exposés happening. There's grand finales. There's revelations of truth. And honestly, even if it's tense, there's some things that we need to, in our friendships and our relationships, we need to clear the air and grant a safety net for the people that we know care about us. We've spent some time with us, but they screwed up, or they're kind of going through a little bit of a tension storm. And so how are we, as the other person, to say, yeah, just don't do it that way? What do we need to talk? How can I give you a soft moment? Let me tell you what's not a soft moment for me. So it's got to be win-win right now. When you've got Libra, when you've got Gemini, when you've got Aquarius, you got two things going on. Gemini, you got two twins. Aquarius, you got the two lines that for any architect out there, a designer, they know that that's the symbol for electricity. The symbol of Aquarius is literally the same symbol that you learn in architectural schooling and craftsmanship. And then you have Libra, which it's the alpha omega kind of thing, and it's the scales. There's two scales. There's the children constellation in Gemini. There's the two sides of the scale in Egyptian and Western cosmology. And then we get to Aquarius, which is literally the symbol of the currency. What is the current, the electrical current that's going on right now? And we all know what happens if we overload a power circuit or if the power goes out. So that's the Aquarian flavor. So this water trine in the first stretch of the month with Jupiter, Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, and Nicole said Mercury going direct in Scorpio, it forms what we call a perfect triangle. Think about how people talk about pyramid power and the top of the, the mystery and the magic, and how people feel so recalibrated if they actually travel to Egypt and go to the Great Pyramid. So it's pyramid energy. It's the magi, the three magi. There's that three. There's the Trinity. There's the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, or, male, female, and connecting up to the other. So there's these trinities that are going on, past, present, future. So this is offering coherence. It's granting, I believe it's the same right now, spiritual and psychological support. And I know that even though I'm still getting there, that it's a rare opportunity that something is finally, but we might have to align it a little bit, like the old-fashioned bike chain, or the kickstand comes off and you really need that to be on your motorcycle, or you really need the brakes to work on your car. So the retrograde period coming out of that, I might say, how's your brakes? How's your brakes? And let me ask you how your brakes are that you can do, that you can self-apply. Are you willing to love yourself enough in this chaos, confusion, a little bit of a crisis cycle, but it's leading us toward the other C words of compatibility and coherence and like a cushioning, a soft place to fall. So this is, your projects are gaining steam, and they especially do that as we get, past that square on the 8th and we get on into the 9th going into the 11th. So what's happening to us is things will be clicking into place. Projects are gaining steam. We're going to see that, oh, look at me, I was worrying, and here we go. So I'd like to say, if you're caught up in one of those confused or worry type of vibrations right now, and that for me, I just started feeling that trying to come on like the last 2 days. So I'm like, what is that?
Well, that's also Neptune's getting ready to station direct soon, isn't it? In a few days?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's at the 29th degree, and it's going to actually, let me check, it's actually turning direct on December 10th.
Yeah, so the full moon is blooming.
Yeah, so listen, that's how we measure time, that time's an illusion. I'm feeling it right now. I mean, I'm feeling it right now.
Ugh, I feel
actually have to tell you, I felt...
Sorry, I always feel like I feel the energies before they're actually even like peaking. It's weird. And I don't know if it's more moon energy, just because, you and I are Cancer ascendants and we're ruled by the moon. Yeah. So we tend to like feel those energies a little bit sooner or more. But yeah, like this energy is definitely very confusing. And I think part of that is because, well, one, you just have Neptune sitting at 29 degrees at the anaretic degree, the critical degree, the degree of being in the void before you step forward into the next thing, and it's like, what's going to happen? What is waiting for me on the other side? There's this big unknown. It's like, you're about to step through, it's like break through the cocoon, and it really is like, we're talking about the ending, there's a very big ending that's happening here right now, because Pisces is the last sign. The 29th degree is the last degree. And so Neptune getting ready to go back into Aries in I believe it's January, it'll make its shift. But like, there's something here that that's bringing in a little bit of confusion, which has to be cleared away, right? To really get honest with ourselves about what are some of the delusions that perhaps we've been holding on to, thinking that they were real, and how can we be honest with ourselves, but also bringing compassion and healing for ourselves as we're navigating a very uncertain period of time, because I don't think people understand how big the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on Aries, 0 degrees, is going to be for us next year. I mean, that is unprecedented energy. Like it's really big. And you and I are going to definitely have to talk about that when we get closer to it, maybe next year. But this energy of Neptune, and it's slowing down, right? It's getting ready to go direct. And so obviously we're feeling that. Saturn just went direct. Mercury just went direct. So right now, all of this energy that we're feeling right now is, impacting us from all these different places. And it's, You know, with Gemini, Gemini definitely wants us to be very clear. It's a full moon, it's illuminating, it's showing us, it's blooming, it's bringing to light something. But then again, Gemini wants us to, it's almost like, think about the news, right? It's like a broadcast going out on the news station, like this is what's going on. And of course, with Mercury being in Scorpio and it being like in that kind of more investigative place, but also very intuitive, it's really something big is coming to the surface. So I feel like if you're feeling confused right now, and of course, like a little chaotic and a little jittery, I do feel like you're saying, Mary, that clarity is coming in. Now, how that comes in, it may be in a shocking way for some people, right? It may be in a positive, shocking way. It may be in a little bit of a disruptive, shocking way. But whatever way it's coming in, it is coming in to help you, sometimes force you to make the choice or decision that is putting you on your path of purpose.
Absolutely, 100%. That alignment in Aries, since you were delineating, I checked it. So it's like February 14th, Valentine's Day of 2026 is when that alignment that Nicole and I are talking about, it already happened back in spring of 2025, but it's going to impact and lock a little bit like, okay, now you have entered the portal. You're outside the matrix. You're responsible for your choices now. And although it can be a little unnerving, although your ankles and feet can get a little shaky to try to learn to ride a bike, to learn to drive a car the first time, to have intimate relations the first time, that kind of like nervousness that hits us in life, like, scary clown, scary clown. You know, when we actually are, I need to do this. And it's a maturation point, but I'm just kind of like, my inner child's kind of like excited and yet scary clown at the same time. So what's happening is this last degree of the Pisces. Pisces is the 12th sign. This is the 12th month of 2025, and this is a wrapping up of that cycle of Neptune completing.
And then the 9 year.
Saturn.
We're ending a 9 year.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, numerology. We'll talk about that big time in January. Absolutely. We're wrapping up in numerology a 9-year cycle, which is also half of an eclipse cycle because they go 18 and a half. So we're wrapping, this is the apex. This is, again, the panoramic view, the top of the mountain of look back 9 years, subtract 9 from 2025, because 2026 is what we call in numerology a universal 1 year. So all of us, let's just take the zodiac out of it for a moment, but it is really strong for Aries. All of us, because Aries is the first sign, in 2026, all of us, regardless of what's in our chart, because the year adds down to a 1, we are entering a brand new, from 1 to 9, 9-year cycle in the numerological study of the magic and meaning of numbers, which numerology is different than gematria, but they're good cousins. So 2026, as Nicole said, is a 1 year. So this year, this Christmas, this Hanukkah, this Kwanzaa, this final month of 2025 really is unwrapping the gift, wrapping the gift, regifting the gift, appreciating the gift, knowing that you can now gift it to someone that will light them up like it once lit you up. Yet we are receiving, simultaneously, we're the Magi. We're the Magi carrying the sacred gifts to our higher selves, to the resurrected one, to how to ascend. And we are in faith, not blind faith, faith. They knew exactly what they were looking at and why. And they came from the different countries, Persia and Ethiopia. They're going toward the prophecy, the intuition, the surging and the purging that the Magi had to. For in a manger, we got to follow this. They're being told that there's a king, and oh boy, we feel like the government, the Roman governments get all pissy about this. The rabbis aren't going to like this, as the story goes, on those different sides of the world. So Gemini is always about, and actually a Gemini martial artist teacher, Wise Soul, one of his monikers that he teaches the mixed martial arts people is choice equals consequence. Now, whether that's your training, whether you strike or recoil or block or grapple or say yes or no, when you're unwrapping the gift of Gemini, Gemini is so multifaceted, and yes, there's plus and minus to every sign. Gemini and Capricorn can be the best liars of the zodiac, hands down. Yeah. I mean, there's ones that are avoidant, but if you look at the dark side, each sign has its little challenges too. If they decide to go dark, God gives us free will. But when you unwrap Gemini, it's air. It's what helps you relax. How do you breathe? What gives you the room to breathe? And it has a lot to do with the air element of Archangel Gabriel. And so the Knight of Swords, the Knights are the messengers. So the top coping mechanisms that all of us, even if we don't have Gemini in our chart or strong Gemini or chart, or we have an empty house in Gemini, the top coping mechanisms of the Gemini energy, the Gemini flavor, which is what this full moon is, dancing and illuminating all of our signs, lighting up especially the Gemini room in our personal charts, whether we're a Gemini or not, in any kind of big sort of way. So the top coping strategies for this Gemini supermoon is complete distraction via stimuli. So sometimes Gemini overbooks, has to be overstimulated to be able to complete not being distracted by what about this and what about that. It's the monkey mind kind of stuff. You know, it's like, oh my God, if that happens, so they have to do they have to multitask, or they have to clean, or they have to play a video game, or they have to go for a walk or jog, or just do something, you know, to like engage the conscious mind so the super conscious and the conscious can come through. Another coping strategy can be sharing with these grand trines, sharing in our feelings with others, whether you're bouncing that off one of your best buddies or a relative, or something, you know, that person that you trust. And then ultimately, I hope, with all this Pisces, taking it to your key friend, your key partner. It's like, I really want to, clear the air. I don't want there to be a bridge between us, the water and the air signs. And Gemini gives us the impetus. It does give us the intellectual inspiration and I think the mind courage to change everything, to let that be, you know, that was a poignant moment in my life. So the top behaviors right now that we might find ourselves kind of thrown on us or diving into is seeking mentally stimulating activities, networking and connecting, and maybe responding. Maybe people are trying to network with us, so instead of us trying to promote or network or market ourselves, look at who you're responding to and who might be an intellectual inspiration to you. You're going to pick up some new interest. There's charm. I think people don't recognize the element of charm. They think about it with Libra, or they think about it with Pisces, but there is a charm magic that comes around mercurial energies. And, you know, I'm certainly one of those people. I have air planets in my chart that no matter what could be seductive to me, if it's not intellectually or psychologically interesting to me, I'm out. It's like Shark Tank. And for that reason, it's a no for me. So they could be gorgeous. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. But if I'm not vibing on the frequency or the mental thing, it's not a blend for me. And I'm going to probably halt it right at the beginning. And they did nothing wrong. It's just me going, yeah, I know where I'm at. But I'm taking responsibility for my stuff. So Gemini can help us learn how to take a more lighthearted approach and still set the appropriate boundary. Now, top regrets of the Gemini, silver-tongued devil, shadow side of Gemini: flirting with people just as a stimulus out of boredom, and you really don't mean any of it. It's vacuous. It's, I'm entertaining myself. Yeah, I'm glad you fell for that. You know, like, that's the silver-tongued devil side of Gemini. Talk the talk, but don't walk the walk. Say you'll do something, and yeah, you had no intention of doing it, or you're going to ghost them. You know, it's just you were entertaining yourself. So that's very one-sided. Overthinking decisions that are already set in stone, like, okay, that's just the what is. You can't change that. You can get creative with it, but that's a wooden window. And if you don't like the wooden window, then change it. But arguing over why is there a wooden window there doesn't help you with your project. Seeking, there's people out there that seek and run to so much stimulus or change that they lose stability. So Gemini deep down, although they overbook their schedules, although it's hard for them to be on time, although they can talk a good game but not always follow through, the Gemini energy we want to be aware of is that we might be avoiding the heavier aspects of our life. Are we neglecting? So it's self-check. Are we neglecting our responsibilities or tasks instead of like looking at what other people aren't doing? Is it triggering us and making us frustrated or angry because we were honorable and had integrity with them? We were the reliable ones. So don't gift me back a sour grapes of not being reliable with me. So it's like, get away from overthinking and get yourself into soul stimulation, and I think that there's layers to this, Nicole. It's like, it's the end of the year. There's a lot of people that are thinking about pleasant memories in their childhood, and those people have passed away. That dog's no longer there. That you broke up that marriage. There's bounce backs from these kind of changes that we make. Like Nicole was mentioning, some are disruptive, some are sudden. It's like, damn, I didn't see that one coming, which is like an arrow. Same thing as seeing a shooting star, or the person that ran the red light. They didn't see it. They might not have even been under the influence. They just might have absolutely not seen it. Could be a host of reasons, but you have to look at the reality of, they're coming through that red light. And if they're not aware and they're not cognizant, your ass better be. So there's a responsibility anytime we go out in life and engage, and Gemini is the moving and spoken word. So out traveling, out, communications. There's I just saw it last night, Nicole. There's some kind of la 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 going on, but they're talking about the Carrington event and the Schumann resonance, and there's all kinds of like X2, 3 eruptions that happen that are supposed to hit Earth, ironically in 3 to 5 days. And so they say that it's not that something I haven't even studied it enough yet, because we study so much about these astrological things, but there's something like big damn deal going on spaceweather.com, and NASA's talking about it, and all these different sites are talking about it. And I'm like, okay, I'll study that after we talk about the Gemini supermoon, because now the sun's going, don't forget about my ass. I'm in Sagittarius, and Mars is in Sagittarius, and Venus. And I'm telling you, we got some Sagittarius activity, and that is spontaneous combustion. It really is. You plan to do this at 2, and all of a sudden the wheel of fate, the wheel of fortune, the 10th card in the tarot right now, and the major trumps, the 10th card, the wheel of fortune, it's spinning. Even the game show on TV, they're all sitting there. They all hope they win, but if you even look at that old TV show that I think still plays, the Wheel of Fortune, you got to spin it and there's a prize. You can lose everything. That's what's going on right now, both in the tarot card, the Wheel of Fortune, and also the game show. It's just like, wee-ha, you're committed to the ride. But we got to pay attention, because so much is coming at us so fast. Gemini and Sagittarius are fast energies. They're intense and they're fast. So if you find right now with this full moon, I'm going to lean in more to the Gemini Pisces stuff, Nicole, even though there's a lot going on with Sagittarius. The Gemini, let's say the mind and the soul, the mind and the heart, I feel like this full moon that starts to really amp up as we get to Thursday, Friday, is going to have some kind of a focus on our significant others, our romantic partnerships. And I think the need of balancing autonomy versus control, over looking at your own destiny, your own, as Nicole so aptly used, your path of purpose. If you're in a worn out, lifeless, soulless, stifling pairing, the real possibility, the ground floor could be coming in about you thinking about, I either got to correct this or I'm going to be moving on. So in terms of, it could happen in work. That can be, if you've got a settled relationship, it could be your work that's been a little much in chaos or disruption or disharmony. So there's a T-square on Friday that potentially, which is why we astrologers tell you about it beforehand, which potentially can make it a little more challenging or difficult to concentrate to get the normal routine things done. That's that other side of Pisces, the Virgo. I got to take care of my daily routine, no matter what new stuff is coming in. But I believe that as we get to Monday, Monday is productive and it's a more upbeat type of aspect. Venus and soulmate Pluto are going to get along. Wednesday is exciting. It's a creative, out of the box kind of day. So I think that next moon day, as we get into, after this full moon starts to wane a little bit, then I feel like that we've got both the reflective, and then we've got some things that we're actually seeing tangible. I can see it, I can touch it, it's in my hand, results of some positive currency going through, like the plug easily fits into the wall, and we got our electromagnetic flow going on. Our electrolytes are okay. Watch out for dehydration factors under this full moon. In a holistic sense, be aware of the fact that you could be having some, may need to hydrate, not just drinking water, but maybe add some Celtic salt, with lemon water and just drink a little bit of that. I didn't say it'd be your favorite beverage, but I mean, try to get in some, get your minerals in, like you can get with the Icelandic, the Celtic salt, get that into your system. If you find that your skin, it's not just your skin feels dry, that you're a little parched, we got this Pisces Gemini going on saying, when's the last time you took a drink of water rather than the energy drink or the coffee or whatever it is? This is literally, you got the Pisces Gemini thing dancing really strong, and the Mars in Scorpio is saying it's an inside job. It's an inside job. You taking care of you? What's going on with you? You got to start with you. Even if other people externally are acting up, you got to start with you. That's what's going on. So some of these revelations, you still got Mercury in Scorpio in that shadow period, and it's very close to what we call in astrology Black Moon Lilith, while in opposition to the late degrees of Uranus. Then we got all the Sagittarius arrows, the Sagittarius stellium flying up in the sky, the Grand Water Triangle pyramid still going on. So the revelations, the truth bombs might be a little brutal or sudden or shocking, but aren't they needed though? I mean, if you want to start a new cycle, you're going to need to leave behind what has made you frustrated or suffering for long enough. It's simply like long enough. So maybe you cry one last time. Maybe you slam a door. Maybe, you say, you know what? I really have been fair with that person. I've given them a lot of chances. And some people in some events, it's simply going to be, I got to go back to what truly matters and what's working for me or not working for me. And I'll do my best to convey it, but I'm not going to be controlled by it. I'm not going to be abused by it. And I will not ignore my intuition, because the Gemini antenna, it's like those solar eruptions right now, those coronal mass ejections. The Gemini's like, the electric fence is on. It's on, but you don't engage with it unless you touch it. So I feel like that when we get to like the 15th and 16th of December, mid-month, prior to the main holidays, Mars pops into Capricorn. Now we're really going to start to see, the first sign of Yule, the first sign of the solstice coming up. Once we start to see these planets, Sagittarius is the final sign of autumn. Autumn starts with Libra. Autumn percolates in Scorpio, the mysteries, the secrets, what needs to die, what needs to be released, what needs to be confronted, where we need to admit we're done. That's the Scorpio. See, Mars has still got a little bit of that Scorpio left. So Sagittarius, of all the autumn signs, Sagittarius is saying, okay, time to have fun, because the Saturn ruled sign of Capricorn's coming up. We get the new moon on the 19th. We get, 2 days before Yuletide solstice, and we got the Capricorn energy, but Mars is going to jump there first. At mid-month, and then the new moon over that, wherever you live, 19th, 20th, and then 21st, 22nd, Yuletide, and then Venus will get in Capricorn on early morning, Christmas Day in most places. So we've got a mission. We're getting our toolbox together, and Sagittarius right now is saying, okay, that hammer handle's a little worn out. Get a new hammer or change the handle, and you're going to need that. And you need a Phillips screwdriver, not just a flathead screwdriver. So it's like we've got to concentrate that things are moving really fast around us all the while, like the train's leaving the station. Woo, woo, it's going. The jet's getting up in the air. So that's what we're feeling that, Nicole. We're like feeling that.
Yeah. And before we jump into all signs, you said something and it triggered a download for me. When you said back room, I heard backroom deals being like exposed. And so this full moon in Gemini could be exposing certain, backroom deals that perhaps were done on the world stage level, but down to your personal level in your own self, like, what are the backroom deals that you've perhaps made, with the shadow side of yourself, the side that wants to stay small, the side that's too scared to move because all the perfect pieces aren't in place yet? What are the backroom deals that you maybe use through spiritual bypassing to say, because with Saturn in Pisces trining Mercury in Scorpio, this is where any of your spiritual bypassing is going to get exposed in a good way, but like it's going to get exposed where you're saying, oh, it's I'm just waiting for the divine divine timing, or it's not the right time yet. And it's really because you're just too scared to take the leap, or, whatever those reasons are. Those sorts of things too are going to be coming up with this full moon. So be on the lookout for those things that are, Mercury's kind of working through the psyche right now and trying to uncover and bring to the surface those things that we've perhaps allowed to stay in the shadows because we don't want to admit that they're there and that they are making controlling moves behind the scenes. And so I do sense that there's something about that that's going to be coming up with this Gemini full moon as well. So that was interesting when you said that, Mary.
Yeah, and I feel like part two of what you just explained to the audience and verified for us as well, the 12th of December, when we have Mercury shift into Sagittarius again, the shadowy yet revealing of anything nefarious or anything that's deceptive. Scorpio will bring up the vampires. It'll bring up the energy thieves in your life and, say to you, hey, that wasn't right. I didn't deserve that, and I'm not going to tolerate that. So until we get to the 12th of December, when Mercury goes into Sagittarius through the 19th, that's the ripe fruit, I feel, of this month, to where we see, and this indeed resolved it. This restored me. This is the power of my faith and prayer. And, so I do feel that you need to, we're all intuitive. Some of us are just more empathic, more psychic sponges than others. Some of us keep it in, some of us project it out, an innie or an outie, like a belly button. But I feel like that there's an energy that's swirling right now that is, Nicole uses the word downloads, or you might hear us say something about it's a recalibration or a divine alignment. However you connect to the divine, however you feel that the sacred is breathing in as you inhale, connect with that during this full moon. Like, take ye apart a while and rest. Let your, he leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. I feel like this, when you're getting the air element of Gemini and the fire element of Sagittarius, Sagittarius is also a lot about faith. Mm-hmm. So how's your faith factor? How's your, and I saw a meme the other day. It's certainly not original with me, but I loved it and I saved it because it said, both fear and faith require us to believe in something unseen, require us to look at something not yet seen. So it's like, again, make a choice. So if we feel, to whatever, on a scale of 1 to 10, when we start to feel the fear factor, why not work with the recipe of adding a little more of the flavor or the spice of faith? You know what? It could go really, really bad, and it can go better than I expect it to be. So you know what? Given the choice, as a weaver of dreams, as someone that does believe that I was born with the gifts of the Creator, that I was made in the image and likeness, that the temple of God is within me, I'm going to activate my faith. I'm going to acknowledge the Creator. I'm going to thank my angelic messengers, the knights in the tarot deck. The knights are the angelic messengers, the messengers. And I'm going to, as a student, as an aspirant of truth, as the seeker of light, I'm going to discipline myself instead of doing this and that for them or me or hopping all over the place, the shadow side of Gemini. I'm going to sit my ass down and I'm going to allot the next 20, 30 minutes, and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to breathe and I'm going to release whatever this attempted chaos is that's going on with my ego or my mind or my fear factors. I'm going to sit down and address it, because if I'm one with the all that is, and I'm a co-creator with the almighty I am forces, yeah, sometimes I got to put that to work. Sometimes I need to take care of business. So we got to take care of business. That's the way I see it, Nicole. We need to step in and take care of business. We have everything we need.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that's a great way to frame this full moon in Gemini and what's also leading us into mid-December. So with all that being said, should we jump into the individual sign readings? And I'll let you take over the mic.
Okay, so we'll start with our first sign of the Western Zodiac. We'll start with Aries, the Ram. And I love that Aries, although I'm I've had many Aries tell me that it's often a bane in their existence or a curse that their astrological slogan is "I am." Because, if all of us sat down and realized what we put right after we say "I am," whether someone says "I'm pissed" or "I'm is I am," I'm tired or I'm sleepy or I'm frustrated, so Aries has that responsibility in our chart of I am. What are we giving power to? In this particular Gemini moon, if the zodiac starts with Aries, and Aries is number 1 and Taurus is number 2 in the zodiacal order, Gemini is number 3. So that's how we can say as astrologers, this super moon, full moon in Gemini, Aries, is lighting up the third realm, the third house, the third portal. And that's the portal, that's the dynamic, the third house, and all it represents, it wants your attention. That's where the moon's light is. So the third house has a lot to do, being the natural sign of Gemini and Mercury, it's a lot to do with how you're saying what you're saying. Are you saying too much? Are you not saying enough? Are you afraid to say it? Did you say it with anger? Did you say it with diplomacy? Were you able to negotiate the win-win? So for Aries right now, see, actually, you've got to look at the opposition. The moon is in Gemini, but the sun is moving through Sagittarius. Those two signs are opposite each other. So Aries, you have the favorability of a mutual fire brother, the Sagittarius energy. So Aries, the fire is rising, enthusiasm and courage and passion and fascination. It's rising in you with all these Sagittarius energies. And so it's fueling your courage, and it's giving you a nice full appetite for possibility. It's bringing you, because of all the retrogrades, we've got to put that RE in there, a renewed desire to expand the plans, maybe act on an idea that you've been tossing around for the last 7 months. It's been waiting in the background, waiting for your momentum. Well, this is the momentum, especially at mid-month, Aries. And then the Capricorn energies arriving, one of the cardinal signs. The cardinal signs are Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. So when Mars gets into Capricorn, Aries, that's ambition. And that's like results and rewards for if you dedicate yourself, if you discipline yourself, Aries, by the time you get to that 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th of December, and Mars anchors into Capricorn. Mars does well in Capricorn. It does well. Mars rules Aries, but it does well in Capricorn because it slows down the thrust of Mars and gives the concise attention, the discipline, the attention to detail, and it gives your ability to kind of find your own routine to where you show up and don't just start the job, Aries. You complete it. You actually do it. So it's going to give you structure. It's going to help you anchor. You're going to feel a shift between the 13th and the 15th of December, Aries, toward dealing with responsibilities. It's okay to enjoy the frequencies of enthusiasm and excitement, but you gotta get it into structure. You gotta get it into meaningful action. So like I said at the beginning of this podcast, I feel like this December 2nd through the 5th is kind of an odd-handed gift of, even though we're like kicking and screaming, or we're like, ooh, it feels tense, ooh, that's icky sticky. Spirit's wanting to show us right now in this last month of the year of our Lord of 2025, we want you to look at this concern, chaos, behavior, addiction, passion. We want you to look at this. We've come out of retrograde. You had to go back and look at it again. You had to give one more chance. You had to fall back into that pattern. We're not judging you. We're not blaming you or shaming you. We're telling you, look at this. This is what can drain you, and this is what you've got to break up with. It's you to you. It's you and your creator. It's you and the Holy Spirit. It's you and your angelic guides going, you got this, baby. You got this. You don't have to learn from frustration or loss or abuse or pain or fear factors anymore. They don't have to be. You're choosing your teachers. Don't choose those. Don't choose those. Yeah. So that's the point I want to make with that. If you're Taurus, the natural second sign in the celestial sequence, if you're Taurus, Gemini is the sign right after yours. And so it's hitting what we call the second house. So Taurus right now, whether it's health categories, whether it's personality conflicts or attractions, whether it's I'm going to do more of this or less of that. I see the second house. A lot of astrologers look at what you're willing to invest in. Is it a debit or a credit? what are your priority? What's your top 10 list? When you look at that at more of a mystical sense, Gemini is the supermoon. So Gemini is saying, where's your head? How's your head wrapping around this? It's all how you put it in your head. Taurus and Cancer are the two signs that do not want anything or anyone to force them into change. It's going to be self-discovery. It's going to be self-allowance. It's a bull, and the bull's like, I like this pasture. There's something about fate with this. They deliver me hay, and I have grass, and I have cows, and I don't bother anybody, but boy, I'll put my horns down if you come up and over in here. This is my little pasture. I'll move over. You can come into the pasture. You can mow it. You can bale the hay and everything you want to, but it's my pasture. So the Taurus factor in all of our charts is where we need that anchor, where we need that, this is my little tent. This is my favorite comforter. That's my favorite flannel shirt. Oh, I love those shoes. I always feel good when I have that massage or get my nails done, whatever that is, whatever that self-nurturing thing is, because Taurus is governed by Venus. This full moon combined with the Sagittarius axis is a subtle pull, Taurus. It's a subtle pull. It's palatable. You feel it, but there's this kind of emergence and ascension and growth factor emerging as the Sagittarius energy is encouraging you to stretch beyond what feels familiar. Maybe that's a better way to say it about Taurus. They're going to anchor in on what feels safe and familiar and secure. So Taurus, you may feel, interestingly, more open to new perspectives or opinions or options, even though it's the natural MO of a Taurus or a Cancer, especially a Taurus, to initially feel a little suspicious, a little uncomfortable, like I might need some coaxing. Why should I go over there? What's in it? How is that better than what I have? So Taurus likes the routine and the structure. So when Capricorn energy comes along mid-month, Taurus, there's your energy that strengthens your foundation and expands the pasture and celebrates your part of your nature that loves to feel grounded and anchored. And that's where you feel secure to help other people when they're going through jittery times or uncertainty, or they're not sure-footed. Capricorn's the sure-footed goat that goes up the mountain. And Taurus is just the big beast. It's a very powerful creature, and yet it's a food supply in a lot of ways. So it gives in a lot of different kind of ways. So I understand why Taurus doesn't want to give in, because one day it's going to have to give all. If you look at their medicine totem of the bull or the cow, and the cow's giving the milk, and they keep breeding them. Yeah, all that. So this is clarity, and it's going to give stability to your routine. I don't think, Taurus, you're going to see a lot of the stability in any aspect of your routine in the first 7-8 days of December. I think it's going to be a little like, what? Until you get more into the past this full moon. And yeah, I think it's going to be like the 9th, 10th, before you start to see, oh, I just needed to refocus. And this is actually going to help me in the long-term direction. Yeah, we're good. But I don't want you to blow it out of proportion right now, Taurus, because it's shifting for you. The shifting sands of time are saying to you, there's always different possibilities in the desert. And that's why people can see a mirage or people seek the oasis, because the desert has its own kind of mystery, just like the ocean. So it's not an unfavorable time for Taurus at all, but it's a time that you need to maybe not be overly concerned about your traditions or your routines, and go ahead and if you've got time on your hands anyway, read that chapter, do that meditation, enter into prayer as you take maybe you're always hurrying and take a shower. Go ahead and do something that's physically self-nurturing, that comfort food, a bath after a shower, to where you can decompress. I really feel that Taurus needs to decompress. And that's okay. I mean, that's a fun assignment too. It's like, it's okay to give to yourself. I guess that's what I say to Taurus. How can you give to yourself right now? If you're Gemini, so the Sagittarius energy, Gemini, is all about your significant other. So it's all about the manager at work. It's all about the CEO. It's about, if it's just you and a child, that is a significant other relationship. If it's you and a relationship that you're finding, out about each other, that is your SO. That is your significant other. So when I say a partner, I say a significant other, it could be the job. It could be a parental or a child struggle. It's the person in front of you that seems to be wanting to be on demand or have your attention the most right now in order to get to that harmony and that peace. Gemini's electric, Gemini's disruptive, Gemini can force us to look at the other side of things or the other face of someone when they're facing insecurity or a very erect ego and they need to be toned down. You know, it's like they think it's all about them. Sometimes we have to confront people on that. So Gemini, again, is the arrows of Sagittarius flying in the air of Gemini. Will they hit the target, or will they just, well, you never see that arrow again? But yet it's going somewhere. So it's like aiming and releasing it in faith into the air. It either does it or it doesn't. I either have the skill or the wind or the other outside factors affect it or not. So for Gemini, it's first house, absolute moonlight spotlight on you, period, amen. The Sagittarius factor is the influence of, are they seeing me as you, Gemini? Am I feeling heard? Do I need to, are my stories getting boring? Do I need to, am I repeating that too much? Am I telling the same story to the next 10 people and I'm just doing it to get attention? I mean, Gemini's now looking at, I like laughter, I like humor, I like to be inspired. Am I getting a little stale with my verbal style or my conversational skills? So I would look at that, Gemini. I would look at that because the new moon was at the 28th degree of Scorpio. And I think I mentioned in your last show, Nicole, that for about a 5 to 6 month run that kind of kicked off either in late September or October, all the new moons are running around 28 degrees. There's that adds to a 10, adds down to a 1 that we're coming into in 2026. There's our 1. And the full moons for like 5 or 6 months, and I think we're backing up into September, October too, are at the 13th degree, like this full moon. There's our 4. So the 4 to me is looking at all of the main directions. They all have purpose: the east, the sunrise, the south, the dawning, the beginnings. You know, the east is the beginnings and the sunrise, and the south is the beginning of the warming and the growing, and then the west is the sunset, and then the north is the nighttime or the cold or those type of seasons. So this energy right now, the 13 degrees of these full moons, is saying, look at all 4 sides of the sign that's being spotlighted, and it's Gemini. So Gemini, I believe that this is actually divine conversation. Maybe you're getting a shift in which a guide or angelic voice comes to you, maybe some kind of therapy or some kind of intuitive counseling or some type of a mystical reading might help upgrade you with all the way things are spinning in your mind, like too fast of an orbit, like a roller coaster. This Gemini energy, Nicole, is very much like when you first get on one of those big, intense roller coasters, and you're strapped in, the car's there, and it's that first click, 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 and it's like going real slow, going up in the air, you know, and then it gets really high, and then it's just like, and now you're committed to the ride. Some people have their hands up in the air, and they start to scream, and you go down with that acceleration, and then there's that sharp turn. That's this. That's this. So Capricorn energy later on in the month, Gemini, is going to be a shift for clearer structure. You'll see your ideas and choices and decisions. We make a choice and make a decision that's going to give the commitment that gives you, I think, substantial progress. So then our 4th sign, Cancer, it's a 12th house light up for you. So December, when we're in the Sagittarius season and your rising sign or your sun sign is Cancer, Sagittarius is your 6th house of what's making me irritable, what's making me impatient, how's my physical health doing. 6th house is your services to other people, who you want to take responsibility for, your pets, your routine, your work, how you like to do your work. Is it time to shift some of your work expectations? Maybe you're only comfortable when it goes that way at this time of day, and maybe you're going to need to make some compromises to get your work stimulated to other people's comfortable zones. So I see that for you Cancerians, and I also feel that this Gemini moon is, expect your dreams to be asymmetrical and sporadic, and like, what in the world was that? I believe easily for Cancerians, they could see literally dearly departed animals or people or have reincarnational vignettes come up in your dreams of like, damn, that was me in that dream, although it looked like a Viking. That was my eyes. That was my eyes. So the eyes stay with you, even though the body temple will change. So there's a whole lot of, I see this as very revelatory for the sign of Cancer. After all, it's your pre-birth labor. sign. If you were born under the sign of Cancer, if your first part of your chart, the East, is Cancer rising, this is before you were born, before you initiated. This was what led you to this point. And so once again, you're birthing. What happens before a birth, even though there's all kinds of variations of it, is there's labor. There's labor before a birth. There's work and decision and maybe some worry or frustration before we actually make the change and say goodbye to that and close that door and open up another door. All that's percolating around Cancer right now. So I would definitely say of all 12 signs, if you've got a Cancer moon, a Cancer rising, first priority, first valuable coping strategy for healing is do something that's really good for your own self-care and your own health and wellness. Like go holistic, get that essential oil out, get the crystal that you want to get out, wear the colors that you know are good for you. If you need to sleep more, take a nap, and it's something you never, ever do, I'd do it. I would do it. If you need to let go of something, like if you need to have less sweet tea or, more this or that, if you rely on, CBDA or you rely on this or that, I would deliberately back up from that right now going, no. That's going to be a coping strategy of choice and enthusiasm and excitement. It's not going to be when I'm frustrated and I feel like I'm in a quagmire and I'm going to go take that substance of choice to let me just escape for a while. Yeah, don't just lean into that. So if you're Leo, this is a stimulus. Gemini energy is the 11th house for Leo. That is dream weaving. That is your social connections. That is participating in teams and groups and joint activities and your friends. And I think if the full moon is going to be a little bit disruptive or revealing some kind of chaos or crisis, Leo, you could find out who's got your back and who doesn't, who's just not real to your face, like they're one way to your face. There's that two-sided face, that two-faced part of Gemini possibility, looking at both sides of things. Or is someone two-faced, that they're playing you, or they have an agenda, or their motives aren't of the light, so to speak, or they're abusive, or it's all about them and screw you. Well, that's not going to go well for Leo at all. It's like, you know what? Life is a stage. Everybody gets a turn. When I'm in the spotlight, I'm in the spotlight. I'll take it. I'll own it. I'll do my best, or I'll flop and I'll get booed. But don't think you're going to take center stage all the time. Leo's not going to let that happen. So I think the theme of the month, because you're favored by all this Sagittarius energy, I think, and Pisces isn't that rough either, Leo, but I feel like Pisces can actually get you a lot of laughs, and help you rise above your own worrywart kind of a thing. But it's an 11th house, which says, what do you like connecting with? Where can you decompress? Is it the gym? Is it a dance class? I mean, go do some kind of group or social or something you've never done before. Just, even if you sit in the back and watch everything, take a hypnosis seminar, do something off of YouTube of a different higher frequency above 528 frequencies. Like do something that you get the Leo ability to control it, but your objective is to make sure that it's helping you through insecurities or nervousness or agitation or insecurity. Because Leos do well when they kind of do that work privately. They're not the ones that naturally want to jump into a group and bear all about what's been making them insecure or nervous lately. So this full moon in Gemini favors you. I mean, Gemini, is all about that. Let's laugh, let's play, go see it, and go see a comedy show. Let someone else make you laugh. Seek the things that could lighten your load, Leo, because it's really an interesting full moon for you. Sagittarius is certainly favorable for you. Now, these first few days of this first week with Mars and Scorpio, it'll kick your ass. I mean, Scorpio will be like, yeah, don't get too bougie, don't get too thirsty, and don't be too extra. Because Mars and Scorpio, until it slides into Sagittarius, until Mars does that dance, and takes on the energy of that whole Venus Mars kind of a thing. I mean, there's a little this Mercury. I'm sorry, the Mercury in Scorpio. Don't get too pushy until Mercury gets that slide back into Sagittarius. Mars wasn't Scorpio, but until the 12th. Let these things slide into favor with you. And this is the Gemini supermoon. So even when the moon goes through Scorpio this month over the 16th and 17th and 18th, Leo, check yourself. Don't need to be the center stage right around that time either. But the theme for you is Sagittarius passion rising, expressing yourself freely. But I think because of the retrogrades, you're going to be reconnecting with people that you haven't talked with, emailed, texted, been around for a while. It could be, those travelers coming in for this busy holiday season, but there's a connection there that I think will be beneficial for both of you. If you're Virgo, Sagittarius is wanting to amp up the volume on discernment. It's a 10th house full moon. And so you may find that you're the one that gets put in charge or needs to kind of be the director to get the balance and the fairness or the situation going forward, moving it out of stagnation. The Sagittarius energy is challenging the routine because it's the Sag is the 4th house, the full moon in Gemini is the 10th house. So whatever, you got two things going on, Virgo. You've got simultaneous stimulation and things that are unsettling. It's like you'll really enjoy the project you did at home, but then there's a stray dog that comes and it messes up the whole house, and you're like kind enough to help the stray dog or the stray cat, but it's like, oh my God, it's gonna have some intensity and take up your time. So you're being guided, Virgo, to examine where your operating systems might have become outdated or a little too restrictive. It's that energy when we upgrade our phones or our laptops, like we just got our groove. We just got it figured out over that year, that 2 years, and man, we're humming along. We know what to do with the phone and the laptop and whatever. We finally figured out that, accomplished that video game or got the virtual reality, whatever. But we finally feel like we're in our groove, and all of a sudden it's outdated or it slows down, or oh no, oh no, or there's some kind of an internet crash or satellite dish not available. That kind of stuff can be going on around you, Virgo, to where you're the one that comes in to be really the mechanic, the logical mechanic that says, don't panic. This was what was going on. It was just, you didn't unplug the hopper. It was a user error. It just meant it's okay. Look, all the computers are on sale. If it crashed and you got to get one, look, it's Christmas. They're on sale. So Virgo is going to be the sound of reason, I think, that's going on. And of course, you're really favored after the mid-month, Virgo, because you've got Mars going into Capricorn and Venus will be going into Capricorn. And so you're going to have some nice things that help you sell that property or get paid back wonderful good karma for the hand that you extended and the relief that you bestowed upon somebody else that was going through a hard time like 8 months ago. If you're Libra, this full moon hits your 9th house. Oh my God, music, theater, dancing, Christmas plays, whatever it is, that the holiday shows, the music and all of that, whatever it is, that if you're close to any kind of big city where you go to your downtown Christmas tree lighting or candle lighting service, or you're looking forward to midnight mass, or you're going to visit a Greek Orthodox or a Coptic church for the first time, kind of getting outside the box a little bit, Libra. 9th house is cultural differences, it's spirituality, it's religiosity without the sternness to it. So whatever you feel like is the holiday magic for you. And for some people, it's baking cakes and watching those creative Christmas cake bake-off type of things. So, I mean, it can be, the charming hostess, how you decorate the house, how you do the tree. I know people that absolutely dread putting up holiday decorations, and other people, they can't wait to get that different Christmas tree. Like, what's the latest thing in the Christmas trees? I can't wait to get it. So it's that. It's and you look at it's the season of lights, whether it's the lighting the candles at Hanukkah or all the Christmas lights and all the projections of that. There's decorations out there. People are doing their houses and their lawns. And it's interesting to kind of look at it like oracle cards, like how did that house decorate? Oh, look, they did all white and there's an angel with a trumpet. When I'm looking at that across the street, there's an angel with a trumpet. Other people do all the colored lights. So we need to pause and kind of appreciate that creative energy that someone gave a damn enough to pay for somebody to do that or do the work themselves, so you can sit back. I mean, if you're decorating your house, it's mainly other people that are looking at it. If you're putting up a Christmas tree, it's you and other people that might come see it. But it's a point of open-eyed meditation, creativity, and bliss. So just look, what light what's the color you're drawn to this year? Which house or street yard made you go ooh and ah? And was it just a candle or incense? So it's the season of light. It's the season of let there be light. So with Libra, I feel like they're probably going to be some of the strongest creative artists out there with this full moon hitting the 9th house. And I believe Libras are planning to do like further journeys. Like, I'm going to go to Egypt, or I'm going to go to Asia, or I'm going to reach out European or South African to do, I've got my degree and I'm going to not just focus on the United States. So there's some stuff going on, or you may be dealing with over the next 6 months. You may be dealing with other cultures and learning from them and gifting to them your knowledge if they're here. If you're Scorpio, yeah. So what's going on is you're thinking about your finances and you're thinking about how much you want to give versus what you're being paid. The full moon for Scorpio is hitting the 8th house. So you're really, really intensely psychic. You're both a sleuth and a detective. You've got this incredible psychic radar that most, if not all, the people around you are not going to see what you're seeing about people's agendas and the creep factor and the pervert factor and like, ooh, that person's just out to take advantage of that person. So you've got like this radar going on that you didn't ask for, but yet it's hitting, it's like Scorpio's turn that they're seeing the dark side of people. It's like, oh my God, that's just like so obvious. And yet you can see the hypnosis going on around you of other people. And it's not that you're wanting to invite drama into your world, but it's like drama is hoping you don't see that it's the storm coming. It's not going to hit you, Scorpio, but it's coming to hit the other people around you. And so I would say to you, Scorpio, you need to be like a prepper. You need to be psychologically prepared. You need to be aware of the fact that you're going to be seeing through other people's manipulative agendas, and you might want to just disengage from that altogether. Like, I don't have to, I can lead the horse to water, but it's got to want to drink. And sometimes if you've ever been around horses, even though you can tell the horse is sweaty and thirsty, the horse is looking like, I don't want to. I want to stay right here and eat this grass. I don't care. If you think I look sweaty and thirsty, I don't want to. I'm going to bite you or I'm going to kick you if you do it. And I'm bigger than you. So I would not be pushing Scorpios right now if I were you people. Scorpios are kind of going through their own kind of multi-dimensional tune-up. Yeah, they're going through a tune-up. And Sagittarius is redefining for Scorpio what really matters now anyway. And here's a big clue. It ain't necessarily the money. It ain't necessarily of this world, of what you can buy or sell or invest in. It's not just a debit or a credit of money. It's energetic, Scorpio. Who or what is draining you, and who or what are people walking into again and again, even though they've fallen from grace and made the mistake, and yet you're just kind of like shaking your head like you're going to do it all over again. You're going to absolutely repeat that pattern again, even though you complained about it for the last 5 years and finally got yourself out of an abusive situation. And, oh, look, different person, different costume, same shit, different day. So Scorpios are not the people that you want to be asking their opinion right now unless you're really ready to hear the truth. It's like, if I were you, I would test the waters this way. I mean, the nice Scorpios will be saying, why don't you test this a little bit? I'm not saying play games. Be authentic, have integrity, but you might want to just kind of watch that a little bit and test the waters on that. So depth, D-E-P-T-H, depth and alignment is going on for Scorpio. And that 8th house moon, oh my Lord. I mean, if you haven't even thought about them in a while, the animal, the person, or haven't seen your grandparents for a while, or someone you broke up with 20 years ago, expect to have some kind of little scenario that goes on in a dream to where you wake up going, that was interesting. And you're going to be able to discover some really inspirational, intellectual, psychological things, the book, the podcast, whatever, the conversation. It's that I would be on I would do more psychological and inspirational and spiritual right now, rather than thinking you're going to find satisfaction out of normal humans, because I don't see it, Scorpio. So Sagittarius, the full moon's in your opposite sign. I've not ever known a male or a female Sagittarius that didn't really lean in anyway to their partners. Sagittarians are often the odd duck out, the rejected one, the orphaned one, the black sheep of the family, because Sagittarius, as much as they want to fit in and they want to have their family be proud of them and love them, Sagittarius ultimately will say, I'm a truth seeker. I'm not going to just do it the way mom and dad told me to do it, or my grandparents told me to do it. For a while, you Sagittarians will lean into that. Well, my daddy did it that way, and my mama was a Baptist, and my dad's Italian, and they don't want me to marry a Protestant if I'm Catholic, or a Jew. All that stuff swirls around Sagittarius folks more than most other people, like Sagittarius and Pisces kind of get caught up in that. But this full moon is giving you, like, I see the treasure chest opening psychically, Sagittarius, and I believe that although you held your faith, and although you stood your ground, and although it was iffy for a while over the last 3 years especially, I feel like you're seeing the fruits of your labor. Yeah, the fruits of your labor. It's a seventh house, it's a west, it's a sunset on the medicine wheel, full moon for you, super moon. And so it's saying perhaps your partnership, your SO, your significant other wasn't respectful for you, wasn't really seeing all that you have done in dedication, and that you didn't need applause for or recognition. And maybe your partner was going through, that part of the commitment vow where you say for better or for worse, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. Sometimes that can be mental stress or mental sickness or falling off the wagon, so to speak. So Sagittarius, they remember the vows that they make. They may break them. They may fall from grace too, but they get back up on the horse. Sagittarius is the half man, half horse, and they realize, yeah, you're the one that started that. You took a side journey. You cheated. You didn't play fair, so now you owe that partner. You owe that business. You've got to go make amends. So this is that full moon that says whatever amends, whatever course corrections, whatever and however you looked at your own deficits, Sagittarius. I see the next 6 to 7 months being really exciting with rewards and payoffs and, again, good karma in your bank account. I feel like that as much as you love to feel like you made a difference in someone's world, that paying it forward, act of kindness, I see that beginning, that what you don't often get is recognition for your dedication. And not that you need it, but I see that that's going to be flowing back to you, Sagittarius, because it's just, you're giving to your partner also what you'd like to see coming toward you. If you're Capricorn, boy, this is a power month coming up for you. Normally, Sagittarius season is not a power point for Capricorn. Why? Sagittarius is the sign before Capricorn. So Capricorn starts solstice, the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. Sagittarius is the sign before the last sign of autumn, before the first sign of winter. So Sagittarius is embryonic, and it's the mysteries of life and the depths of the psyche for Capricorn. Whenever each year the sun and especially the sun and a bunch of other planets are in Sagittarius, Capricorns are pensive, they're calculating, they're looking back anyway over what were the highlights of this year, what did I miss, what were my missteps, how can I correct that, and who was really there for me, and I'm glad I got to be really there for them, and what do I next want to focus my spotlight, the light in my lighthouse, what do I now want to focus on as my main project? Capricorns are always thinking about their top 3 priorities, be it person, place, or thing. What Capricorn needs for balance is the next full moon we've got coming up. The Capricorn's opposite sign is Cancer, and Capricorn doesn't want to put up with family or relationship betrayal or crap. Now you might say, well, no sign really wants it. Yeah, there's a whole lot of signs that get off on the drama and the trauma of that. They have kind of an adrenaline addiction, and so the thrill, it makes it worth it. There's a lot of people that like to fight really well before they make love. It's like that the honeymoon phase has to come up again after drama. So with Capricorn, the people that are Capricorn feels free when the people that they have dedicated their commitment to, or that is supposed to be a dedicated commitment with, that they really feel like someone else has their back. Why? Because it's usually the goat, it's usually the Capricorn that's making sure they're prepared. They saved the money, they care about the business, they have to have the result in case things go sideways. So Capricorn is all about time management and what about this and prepare for that. So there's not a whole lot of spontaneity that comes out of a Capricorn, but when they find that partner that'll just run up and kiss them on the neck or make them laugh or tickle them or surprise them and take them to a restaurant, and the Capricorn thought they were just going to come home and do the same old. But also that same partner says, I have a surprise for you planned tonight if you want to, but you know what? If you need to rest and you need to chill, I'll rub your back. Let me go get the oil. That's what Capricorn needs. They need to be able to let their hair down with their significant other. And so I'm telling you that between this full moon, the end of 2025, and the first full moon of 2026, Capricorn, and Happy New Year to everybody. This is the time of reckoning and depth. I feel like you will meet your soul match, your current soul relationship. If you know that you found the one, it's really going to deepen. Those of you that didn't settle for less, it's here. It's like you didn't settle for less, and you might be 80, you might be 50, you might be 25, but the match to your energy is what's on tap as you get into the now through the second month of 2026. Good news for you, Capricorn. It's really good news. Aquarius, this one is, it's fifth house. The full moon's hitting your fifth house. Gemini dances well with Aquarius. They can both keep it on the surface. They can keep it future focused. They can keep it conversationally interesting about all the realm of possibilities. It's like Elon Musk sitting down with a young child kind of a thing. It's when Aquarius and Gemini get together, or he's just invented something and he's going to go try out the new creation kind of a thing, even though Elon Musk is a Cancer. So Aquarius, you're innovative right now. You're like inspired and intrigued, and you're just fine giving interesting surprises and bonuses to other people. I see Aquarius this year being the number one Santa Claus. I feel like Aquarius is wanting to give for the community and make a difference and surprise people with some gifts and some energies and some smiles and some encouraging words that they didn't see coming. So it's nice when some turning point in my life, I just really want to say those words to you, because I'm thinking maybe you don't, I don't want to assume you get that all the time. I want you to know you, and that made a difference in my life. That raised me up. I think all of us, all signs could do that. We could all lift each other up more and be more invested in that. But I'm declaring, as a psychic of over 4 decades, I believe that Aquarius energy is the true Santa Claus. I mean, Santa Claus is normally Sagittarian energy because, you know, Christmas, you know, the solstice and everything, the actual holiday happens in Capricorn, but the preparation and the lights and what am I going to buy them? All of December, the early part of December is Saggy. And Sagittarius likes to fly around on a sleigh with reindeers and go down chimneys and eat cookies and milk. Yeah, that's real Sagittarian stuff, like, whee, let's jump down the chimney. So the final sign for Pisces, this Gemini supermoon hits at home. It's fourth house for you. It's your family beliefs. It's the traditions, you know, like they talk about on Fiddler on the Roof, that song Tradition. So it has a lot to do with some revelations and some truth bombs that may be coming that, in a sense, shatter what you used to think was true or what you always thought was going on in your early home front. There may be some of those things that we don't talk about, things that people say they would take to their grave. And this isn't all bad, by the way. I believe it's going to be revelatory of light, because your inner child is going to go, well, that's what I felt. I remember feeling that, and everybody told me different. So I feel it's a very family, relative, reckoning type of a cycle. It's a baptism, it's a resurrection, it's an ascension of, like, I just like to say to Pisces, so whatever the details are, determine yourself right now that you are only going to accept in the dynamic of your personality and the habit patterns that you choose, that in being true to yourself, you, no matter what were the plus and minuses of the dad or the mom, Pisces, I want you to right now breathe and choose, I will only showcase the absolute best qualities that my mother had, the absolute favorable, positive qualities that the father figure had. I feel like that Pisces are going through some type of a renaissance, resurrection, rebirth. Their inner world is so active, and probably you are going to do some THC or some mushrooms or something, because I feel like that there's Pisces is getting unlocked right now by the truth waves that are coming through. The Pisces, the Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, the Saturn getting ready to come into that, the Valentine's Day of 2026, you know, the Neptune and the big joining of Saturn and Neptune in the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, and then the eclipse coming up on February 17th of 2026. That's one of the big, February and September of 2026 are big consciousness portals that we're all going to ascend into. Big stuff, big stuff. So write those dates down, mid-February and going into September of 2026. So I feel like the Sagittarius energy for Pisces is 10th, and the full moon, supermoon of Gemini is like, I'm talking to you. You talking to me? Yeah, I'm talking to you. So There's like that mafia dom, there's the shaman, there's the herb, there's the oil, there's the dream, there's the psychic reading, there's the astrological prognostication. I feel like that Pisces now is trusting it in the present. The present's a gift. That's why it's called the present. I feel like Pisces right now is going to anchor in the present and know that their true oracle is the now, the right now. It's like those old books, the hippies would write, be here now. Ram Dass, be here now, be in the moment, be in the present. You can shape shift if you stay in the present. The past, it's what you worried about. The future is what you were worried about yesterday. So the past is the past. Let it be a teacher. Let it be a reference point, but don't let it leash or own you. And don't let the concern or the worry about the future, Pisces, cause you to shake and feel nervous about and miss and overlook the gifts that you have right now. And in the present, in the right now, even if you're traveling this holiday or you're just settling into back home, just look at that home that you're paying rent or mortgage on, or the apartment or the trailer, or look at the land, look at the sky, look at the vortex that your body temple, Pisces, is living in right now, the space. Look at the space. It may change, but look at the state, look at the country, look at the landscape, look at the space that you're in, and see the year-end awe of that, because it easily could be changing next year as we have the Aries planets beginning to start us on a course that, a journey, a sojourn that we've never gone on before. Absolutely. 2026, both numerologically and astrologically, is astrology has been talking about 2025 and 2026 since 2017 when we had the great 29-degree Leo eclipse, solar eclipse in late August. This is a time, as the old Paul Simon song goes, he's a Scorpio. These are the times of miracle, the boy in the bubble. These are the times of miracle and wonder. This is the great sigh. So this is a major time of upliftment, but the pieces are all moving around us so quickly that it's not just going to be one person, one thing, one dynamic. We are in active motion right now. Gemini is the moving and the spoken word. So take a pause, examine your thoughts and the structure of your thoughts and the nature of your beliefs. And as Nicole said early on, before we conclude this, take notice of the words that you choose not to let fly out of your mouth. In Job, it talks about, even biblically, what is the most unruly organ? It's the tongue. The power of the tongue, the casting of the words. So Gemini, more than Virgo, anything Gemini says, your word is your wand. That's your magic wand right now. And sometimes we can be more effective by what we don't say rather than what we actually choose to say. And I think that kind of wraps up Gemini, Nicole. I think the Sagittarius energy is saying, I love the truth. Do you? Do you? Really? You ready for it? Can you give it? Or are you going to be avoidant? Pisces can be the escapism and the avoidant. Gemini can be dancing all around the issue and like, oh, let's just go have fun tonight. We'll deal with that later, because they know a crisis is on the horizon, or somebody just got hard medical news and they want to kind of give a person an uplift before there has to be the drop, encouraging words. And then sometimes people just, when they're feeling surly or they didn't get their way, they got to go, just spew that dragon fire externally. And because they're not happy, they're going to go out and disrupt someone else's day. The person that yells at the cashier or screams at the person that got their parking space. It's all been there, either getting screamed at or they took your place. So I feel like it's time for us to kind of see it as a comedian. Let's look at, I love comedians. I love how they can, dancers and music and comedians, how they can let us escape in a healthy way and laugh at ourselves besides the joke that they're telling, or laugh at them, how they're performing it. The merry minstrels, the jesters. Gemini can be a really good time to go see a comedy or go invest in a comedian and help pay their mortgage, and let them uplift your mood. Like, go pay to play, go pay to play. Just make it healthy play. And I certainly feel like most comedians are that, and maybe we could support them more.
Yeah. Well, that was wonderful, Mary. Thank you. And speaking of the energy portal that you said in mid-February and going into September, In that mid-February energy portal, I will be hosting my next retreat, February 26th. So in the corridor of the two eclipses and very close to the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, we will be hosting and opening our own portals in the mountains of Colorado, next to a river, around a fire, to absolutely create a wormhole to your future highest timeline that you are so much wanting to call in. We're going to create a wormhole to that, to your now moment. So if you would like to join me and others who've already signed up, we'd love to have you there. There are a couple of tickets left. If you've been thinking about it, I wouldn't delay too much longer because the tickets are going. So the link is in the description below. As well, because we are heading into a new year, also a 1 year, this is a great time to book a session with Mary and have her take a look at your chart to see what does 2026 have in store for you. How can she help you navigate what's coming up? How to not miss on important opportunities that could be coming your way. All of that is available, and Mary is definitely a wonderful seer and mystic to help guide you through that. So her links are in the description below, or you can go to marydusina.com. Mary, thank you so much for being on the show again with us this month. I know we're going into an interesting time next year, but as we close out 2025, I just want to say it's been wonderful to do this for another year with you by my side.
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely, my sister in the stars. Yeah, absolutely. I'm grateful. And even though 2025 for a lot of people, I personally know has been extremely challenging, deaths of loved ones, odd medical things like really disruptive to the edge of death type of things with a lot of clients and people. And it's been very intense, as Nicole mentioned, and I welcome the inspirational aspects of when we have to teach, learn, experience, like Nicole's retreats, readings with either one of us. Let's go into the intensity with purpose. Let's get some direction. Let's invite the divine. Even if you don't know if you believe in it yet, at least pray, meditate, summon divine alignment, summon the almighty I am, summon the lights of love, summon, the Christed consciousness, summon what works for you, but walk with it. Don't let it just be empty words, like invite it in and form that marriage with it, form that spiritual, mystical commitment with that, because I'm telling you, your world changes. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to spend money to do it, but you've got to be willing to be committed to the ride. And I believe that's what we're ending December of 2025 on. It's okay to let go of the things that we truly invested in that just need to shift and change, or maybe just their time is up, and not have to get into some kind of trauma event in order to validate that I'm there. That's it. I'm out of here. Or they're out of here. Or they should have never done that to me. Maybe that human, emotional, we kind of resist change. Maybe we need to kind of let that go with the year of 2025 and just invite our higher, better versions of ourselves to be the director.
Wow. Yes. Love that. Very well said. And to that, everyone, we love you so much. Thank you for joining Mary and I and for yet another full moon breakdown. Remember, this one's a super moon. It's very close, so it's amplified. It's also sitting at a highest point. So this is an important one. Whatever's coming up for you, pay attention. It's time to make some choices. It's time to lean into the discomfort a little bit, but use your intuition, use your body's somatic responses of what is your body trying to tell you, not from a place of fear, but from deep knowing, okay, from deep truth. That is where you really want to pay attention to. You'll get a lot of answers for what's coming up. And Mary and I will be back again with you guys in the new year. But of course, I'll be back with you next week with a brand new guest. You guys are going to love him. He is fantastic. And we are going to talk about the 24th chromosome activation.